What has you excited this year?
Well, I think it's quarterbacks right off the top. I don't think there's a league in the country that has more depth at the quarterback position than the Big 12 does this year. And I also think this is a season where there's a lot of optimism about taking that next step and being a multi-bid league into this expanded playoff. I think the Big 12 has an opportunity to get multiple teams in this year.
Arizona State took that step last year, surprising a lot of people, making the college football playoff after winning the conference and coming a bounce or two away from advancing in the college football playoff against a Texas team that comes into this season ranked #1. Let's get to the AP Top 25 and how the Big 12 looks right now. There it is, 4 teams. Arizona State, as we mentioned, 11th coming into this year. Kansas State, 17th, and number 22, Iowa State. Those two ready to lock horns now in Dublin in Week 0 on Saturday. And coming in at 23rd, the retooled, revamped, reimagined Texas Tech squad. This check out to you, Taylor?
Absolutely, and I think there's a couple right behind these teams. I think about Baylor as well that you saw. They received some votes, but these 4, I think this is part of that cluster of teams. The expectation for all of them is to stay in the top 25 and be battling for a Big 12 championship this year.
Of those teams on the doorstep you mentioned, you see BYU, Utah, and Baylor receiving votes. Actually, the first 3 teams out of the top 25. Which one of those impresses you the most headed into this year?
I think it's Baylor. And I think if you think about Sawyer Robertson from a year ago, didn't start the first 2 games. They build all of that momentum through the rest of the season. They bring him back. And Baylor is a team, Dave Aranda's done a fantastic job sort of retooling that roster. And I think it all depends on they will go as Sawyer Robertson goes. But that's a team that I'm very high on. Do not be surprised if the Baylor Bears make a lot of noise this season.
All right, let's break out some hardware. It is way too early to break out the hardware, but let's take a look at some of the Big 12 preseason award winners. There they are. Sam Levitt, he's got a tough act to follow after last year. He right now, Offensive Player of the Year coming into the season. Devin Dampier, I know you got the book on him, Taylor. We will get to that shortly. The Newcomer of the Year, and Jacob Rodriguez. He is all over the field for Texas Tech. Will be once again this year, especially according to the experts. What do you like about these preseason awards?
Well, I think Sam Levitt has a lot to prove in this campaign coming back for Arizona State and all he accomplished a year ago. Devin Dampier, I think, fits in perfectly with what Utah wants to be on offense. And then Jacob Rodriguez, this is a guy that you're going to see playing on Sundays, a captain of this defense. Guys that aren't listed here, Jordan Tyson, star receiver for Sam Levitt. He's going to be getting a lot of touches. And then a team that we haven't talked about yet in TCU, Bud Clark, the safety on the back end there. I think TCU's got to take a big step forward on their defense. And if they do, I think they're led by Bud Clark in the secondary.
Is there a player, a dark horse, that we haven't talked about yet, obviously it's early, but wasn't on that list that you like this year to make a lot of noise in the Big 12?
Jalen Daniels from Kansas. I know that's not necessarily a dark horse. We all know who he is, but 2023 bursts on the scene. 2024, there's a bit of a regression. I think you'll see him back in the limelight this year and expect a lot of good things out of Jalen Daniels.